Have you ever stopped to think about what the future holds? While many look to scientific and technological advancements for answers, one of history's most enigmatic figures, Nostradamus, left behind eerily precise predictions of what might come. His prophecies for 2025 aren't just unsettling, they delve into themes like AI spiraling out of control, devastating natural disasters, and conflicts that could shift the world's balance of power. But are these predictions mere coincidences, or are they real warnings for our generation? What if I told you the fate of humanity could hinge on the decisions we make now, amidst climate crises, political tensions, and technological revolutions? Yes, all of this was hinted at in Nostradamus's visions. In this video, we'll dive deep into his 10 most impactful prophecies for the upcoming year, touching on topics like the monarchy, space exploration, and even faith. And here's the best part. I'll show you how these predictions might be more connected to your life than you think. Before we move on, I have a small request. Like this video and subscribe to the channel now. The more people access this information, the greater the impact of these reflections on the world. Together, let's unravel Nostradamus's mysteries and uncover what 2025 truly holds. Get ready, because what you're about to hear might just change your perspective forever. Nostradamus, the enigmatic 16th century French astrologer, remains a figure of fascination and heated debate. His predictions, often encoded in poetic quatrains, defy common understanding, yet have captivated scholars and enthusiasts for centuries. Imagine someone in his time speaking about technologies we're only beginning to grasp, like artificial intelligence and climate change. Unbelievable, right? He viewed these machines of tomorrow as forces capable of shaping humanity's destiny in unexpected ways. Much like Solomon sought divine wisdom to lead, 1 Kings 3:9, Nostradamus seemed to seek insights beyond his present, echoing biblical reflections on future times. Among his most debated predictions is the idea of a weakened monarchy. Nostradamus mentions a king of the Isles facing drastic transformations, a reference many interpret as the British monarchy's instability. But he didn't stop there. He also spoke of an elderly pontiff encountering challenges, which some linked to Pope Francis. Could these visions be warnings for traditional institutions to reconsider their roles in a rapidly changing world? As Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us, "To everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven." His prophecies often blend astrology and biblical themes, creating a unique bridge between science, spirituality, and history. Nostradamus was a master at observing patterns in the skies to understand events on Earth. He believed astrological cycles dictated human transformations. Isn't it intriguing how this aligns with the biblical idea that the heavens declare the glory of God, Psalms 19:1? For skeptics, it's worth noting how his predictions resonate with events like political revolutions and natural disasters that have shaped centuries. Picture living in a time when the future seemed distant, yet still predictable for those who could read the signs. Nostradamus was like that friend who always sees beyond what's visible. Perhaps that's why his words provoke such profound reflection even today. He foresaw an era of climate change and events that would force us to rethink our role on Earth. So, what do you think we could learn from someone who saw beyond his own time? Even practical actions can emerge from these prophecies, like adopting sustainable practices to contribute to a more balanced future. While many view Nostradamus as a mystical figure, others see him as a visionary historian. He not only predicted disasters and upheavals, but also posed questions for humanity to ponder. What are you doing to prepare for a world in constant transformation? This unease might serve as a bridge to our next topic: climate change and its impact. After all, his predictions don't stop here. If Nostradamus were among us today, he'd likely point to the skies, the oceans, and the parched lands as warnings. His predictions about natural disasters and climate change aren't just distant echoes of the past. They're alarms growing louder in the present. He spoke of the dry earth becoming more arid and great floods, which resonate with the severe droughts and devastating storms we're witnessing today. Much like biblical prophets warned of drought and destruction, Deuteronomy 28:23 through 24, Nostradamus seemed to foresee a future where humanity would face the consequences of its careless actions. Imagine waking up to the news of a tsunami wiping out an entire coastline or a city submerged underwater. It's as if his words are leaping off the page into reality. Moreover, he spoke of global waves of hunger, something we're now seeing in food crises driven by extreme weather events. This should prompt us to reflect on our collective responsibility. Reducing food waste, supporting sustainable farming, or even taking small eco-conscious steps aren't just conscious choices, they're urgent necessities. As 2 Peter 3:10 reminds us, the heavens will disappear with a roar, and the earth will be laid bare by fire. Are we already witnessing the beginning of these signs? The climate crises, like rising global temperatures, serve as reminders that the planet is alive and reacts to our actions. Nostradamus saw Earth as a pulsating organism expressing its pain through earthquakes, hurricanes, and other natural disasters. Think about it. The Amazon rainforest burning or polar ice caps melting are not isolated tragedies. They mirror his prophecies. And have you thought about how you can be part of the solution? Maybe by planting trees, reducing your carbon footprint, or simply spreading awareness among those around you. Another striking aspect of Nostradamus's predictions is his precision in highlighting global interconnection. He spoke of plagues spreading like wildfire, a reality we've seen with the recent pandemic. And with climate change, new viruses and diseases are likely to emerge, disproportionately affecting vulnerable populations. Much like Revelation 16:21 speaks of plagues and catastrophes, Nostradamus's words echo a call for humanity to prepare, both spiritually and physically. This isn't about fearing the future, but acting in the present. What makes his predictions so compelling is how they challenge us to think beyond the obvious. He foresaw extreme climate events, reshaping how nations manage natural resources. Today, global debates about renewable energy, forest preservation, and access to clean water dominate the conversation. Are you ready for these changes? While reflecting on Nostradamus's words, we're drawn to yet another intriguing theme: the revolution of artificial intelligence, AI. In his almost mystical brilliance, Nostradamus spoke of naval battles and warfare, which some interpret as digital conflicts. In a world increasingly connected where AI progresses rapidly, it's hard not to imagine machines escaping human control. Picture AI making autonomous decisions, affecting governments, economies, and even your daily life. Sound familiar? In Daniel 12:4, we're warned that knowledge will increase in the last days. Could we already be living in this pivotal moment of technological transformation? Now imagine waking up and realizing your home, car, and even your job are managed by machines far smarter than any human. Fascinating, yet terrifying, isn't it? AI is already used to predict weather patterns, manage medical crises, and even make military decisions. Nostradamus seemed to foresee a future where control would slip from human hands, leading to global chaos. Consider, for example, the growing tensions between China and the US as they compete for AI dominance. Doesn't this feel like a glimpse into his vision? The impact of AI extends beyond geopolitics. It seeps into our daily lives in ways we often don't notice. Algorithms already decide what you see on social media, what you buy, and even who you meet on dating apps. Are we becoming puppets of technology? Nostradamus, with his prophetic insight, appeared to predict a society where our dependence on technology would lead to unforeseen disruptions. Proverbs 4:7 reminds us that wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. Amid this revolution, seeking discernment has never been more critical. Concerns about AI's influence go beyond economics and human relations. Nostradamus spoke of collapses in critical infrastructures like power grids and military systems caused by technological failures or cyber sabotage. Have you heard of cyber attacks that have paralyzed entire governments? Now imagine that on a global scale. What can we do to prepare? Learning about cybersecurity, educating ourselves on AI, and supporting ethical regulations are practical steps anyone can take. As we ponder these predictions, we must ask, how do we balance progress and security? The technological revolution can be both a blessing and a curse. Nostradamus seemed to warn us, stay vigilant and ready for the consequences. And speaking of vigilance, this leads us to another major theme in his prophecies, the turbulence within monarchies and the changes that could alter the course of history. Nostradamus had a remarkable ability to see beyond the monarchies of his time, predicting profound changes that echo through the present day. In one quatrain, he speaks of a king of the Isles who will face drastic upheavals, often interpreted as the British monarchy's ongoing transformation. Some speculate this could relate to King Charles III, whose recent ascension to the throne has been marked by public skepticism about the relevance of the monarchy. Will his reign be brief, as Nostradamus implied? It's a scenario that reminds us of Proverbs 29 verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked rule, the people groan. Now, imagine the global impact of an unexpected abdication or even the passing of King Charles III, particularly if health concerns such as rumors of prostate cancer are confirmed. The succession would unfold like a dramatic series, Prince William as the likely heir, yet whispers of Prince Harry's return, igniting debates on tradition versus modernity. Have you considered how seemingly distant events like these could ripple across political systems worldwide? Nostradamus also hinted at a deeper transformation in the very concept of monarchy. We're seeing this unfold as younger generations increasingly question the relevance of royal institutions. Could recent scandals involving members of the British royal family be signs of this transition? Consider the fallout from Prince Andrew's controversies. Ecclesiastes 1:9 reminds us, there is nothing new under the sun. Even the most radical changes might simply be part of a repeating historical cycle. At the same time, these shifts highlight a larger societal struggle between tradition and innovation. Nostradamus seemed to foresee a divided society, with heated debates over the role of monarchies in the modern world. Can you imagine a future without kings and queens? While it may seem far-fetched, nations like Barbados have already severed ties with the British Crown. Perhaps it's time to reflect on what we truly value in leadership and institutions. After all, tradition alone doesn't guarantee relevance. With so many unanswered questions, it's clear that monarchies will remain a stage for significant transformations in the coming years. But as we look behind the curtains of power, Nostradamus also directs our attention towards something even more ambitious: space exploration and what it could mean for the future of humanity. Among Nostradamus's most intriguing predictions is his mention of a celestial fire and the dimming of Mars' light. These lines have been interpreted as referencing space exploration, a frontier that's gaining momentum with technological advancements. Isn't it fascinating to think that, in the 16th century, he might have envisioned the possibility of interplanetary travel? Today, visionaries like Elon Musk aim to establish colonies on Mars by 2050, seemingly fulfilling his words. This quest to explore the heavens connects with the biblical promise of new heavens and a new earth. 2 Peter 3:13, fueling humanity's eternal fascination with the unknown. Mars, the red planet, has always symbolized mystery and challenge. Missions planned by SpaceX and other agencies aren't just scientific endeavors, they're bets on the survival of our species. Imagine the thrill of setting foot on another planet, building homes where only dust and rocks once lay. Nostradamus seemed to foresee not only the technological advancements required for such achievements, but also the risks involved. How do we prepare for a celestial fire? Perhaps it's a reminder to prioritize the care of our own planet before seeking new worlds. Space exploration also raises ethical and spiritual questions. Are we truly ready to face the challenges we'd encounter on Mars? Nostradamus' mention of dimming light could symbolize physical obstacles or even existential crises. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to live far from the planet we call home? While it might represent a fresh start for humanity, it also serves as a call to better steward what we already have. What's the point of conquering new worlds if we destroy our own in the process? Moreover, the race to explore space could either unite or divide humanity. Nostradamus predicted great collective efforts, but also conflicts. With the current space race intensifying, nations are competing to lead this new frontier. We've seen a similar rivalry during the Cold War's race to the moon. Will the next decade be characterized by cooperation or competition? Amos 3:3 reminds us, "Can two walk together unless they are agreed?" Space exploration may be the ultimate test of our ability to work as one. As we look to Mars as a symbol of hope and achievement, Nostradamus challenges us to think beyond technological progress. His vision points to a future of exploration and discovery, but also introspection and accountability. And while Mars captures our imagination, the social unrest here on Earth continues to shape our present and future. One of Nostradamus's more vivid predictions involves fire in the hearts of cities, which many interpret as revolutions, protests, and social tensions, something we're witnessing today. Consider global movements like Black Lives Matter, which resonate as calls for equality and justice. Nostradamus seemed to foresee growing social inequality and political polarization, suggesting that 2025 could be a boiling point. Doesn't this align with Isaiah 58:6, which calls us to loose the chains of injustice and untie the cords of the yoke? Recent protests, from Hong Kong to climate change demonstrations, clearly reflect Nostradamus's visions. Imagine a world where frustration with political and economic elites fuels widespread upheaval. His imagery of flames in cities could represent literal fires or figurative struggles for change. If you're wondering how to contribute, supporting organizations that promote equality, educating yourself about human rights, and voting responsibly are excellent places to start. Interestingly, Nostradamus didn't only predict destruction, he also envisioned transformation. Crises, as chaotic as they may seem, often serve as catalysts for positive change. Think about historical movements like the end of apartheid or the civil rights victories in the US. Have you ever considered how you might be part of the solution? Small actions like volunteering in your community or donating to important causes can create ripples of change. Social unrest also invites introspection. Amid the noise, Nostradamus seemed to suggest that finding inner peace would be crucial. As Philippians 4:7 says, "And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds." Seeking balance in chaotic times might seem impossible, but it's often in these moments that we find strength through spirituality and human connection. As cities burn with cries for change, society finds itself at a broader turning point. Nostradamus spoke of cycles that shape entire eras, and now we're on the verge of something he called the Age of Aquarius, a new chapter promising both challenges and opportunities. Nostradamus, in his visionary mastery, predicted that the entry into the age of Aquarius would mark a turning point for humanity. He spoke of blood, milk, famine, and war, hinting at a period of deep crises, but also profound transformation. This astrological cycle, spanning approximately 2,600 years, suggests a radical shift in how we relate to spirituality, technology, and even the environment. Remember Ecclesiastes 3:1, "To everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven." Perhaps we are entering one of those pivotal moments that will define generations. The age of Aquarius brings a fascinating blend of innovation and spirituality. Think about the recent surge in scientific discoveries and the growing interest in practices like meditation, yoga, and the search for deeper meaning. Nostradamus seemed to anticipate this merging of material progress with spiritual evolution. If you're wondering how this applies to your life, maybe now is the time to explore new avenues of personal growth. Why not start learning about emotional intelligence, astrology, or even subjects like mindfulness that can help you align with this era's energy? Yet Nostradamus also warned that the transition to the age of Aquarius would not come without challenges. He predicted conflicts, scarcity, and environmental struggles before humanity could find balance. Just look around. Climate change, economic instability, and global tensions are already shaping our present. Nostradamus seemed to imply that moments of chaos are necessary for a new order to emerge. As Isaiah 43:19 reminds us, God creates something new even in the wilderness. Could these crises be paving the way for breakthroughs? An equally intriguing aspect of this age is its emphasis on global collaboration. Nostradamus envisioned a future where nations would need to work together to combat challenges like inequality and environmental destruction. Have you ever imagined a world where cooperation triumphs over competition? Participating in initiatives that promote sustainability or educating yourself about global issues are practical ways to align with this collective transformation. While the age of Aquarius promises a brighter future, it also brings uncertainty. Nostradamus believed that despite the hardships, humanity would emerge wiser and more united. However, this growth comes at a cost, particularly as we face the global conflicts he predicted, another critical theme in his prophecies. Among Nostradamus's most striking predictions is the rise of grave global conflicts. He described an adversary in red, spreading fear across vast oceans, a line often linked to China's growing military and political influence. Tensions in the South China Sea and the unresolved issue of Taiwan seem to mirror his warnings. It feels as though we are living out the words of Revelation 6:4, where a rider takes peace from the earth, leaving a trail of fear and uncertainty. Today's conflicts extend far beyond traditional warfare. The modern world has introduced cyber wars, economic battles, and diplomatic tensions. Think about the economic sanctions between nations or embargoes that impact millions. Nostradamus seemed to foresee an escalation of global tensions, requiring innovative peace strategies. For individuals, this might mean staying informed, learning about geopolitics, and engaging in discussions that promote dialogue and cooperation. Nostradamus didn't only highlight the dangers of these conflicts, he also pointed to their far-reaching consequences. He envisioned economic collapses, resource crises, and even heightened environmental disasters exacerbated by geopolitical rivalries. Have you ever considered how conflicts on the other side of the globe might impact your daily life? Higher prices for imported goods, job losses, and financial instability could all ripple through our interconnected world. Matthew 24:6 advises us not to be alarmed by wars, but to prepare spiritually for challenging times. Interestingly, Nostradamus also saw conflicts as potential catalysts for progress. In moments of crisis, new leaders and solutions often emerge. For example, technological advancements in military defense or international agreements fostering peace might arise from these tensions. Have you ever thought about how such crises could be disguised opportunities? Perhaps this is a moment to consider how you can contribute, whether by supporting humanitarian organizations, promoting education, or advocating for peace within your community. While the world teeters on the brink of possible conflicts, Nostradamus invites us to reflect on their consequences and the lessons we can learn. Yet even these geopolitical challenges pale in comparison to the cosmic disasters he foresaw. Nostradamus, ever attuned to events beyond Earth, wrote about catastrophic occurrences from the cosmos. He described celestial fire and waves swallowing coastal lands, interpreted as asteroid collisions or massive solar flares. Imagine the devastation of a cosmic impact, altering life on Earth forever. His words echo Luke 21:25-26, which speaks of signs in the sun, moon, and stars, and the terror filling people's hearts at such events. Modern science keeps a watchful eye on potential cosmic threats. You've probably heard of NASA's Planetary Defense System, DART, which recently tested a method to deflect asteroids. Nostradamus appeared to predict that humanity would need to devise ways to shield itself from these extraterrestrial dangers. What once seemed like science fiction is now a developing reality. The aftermath of such an event would extend beyond physical destruction. Nostradamus warned of waves swallowing lands, conjuring images of tsunamis triggered by cosmic impacts or climate-induced sea level rises. Entire cities could be wiped off the map, displacing millions and disrupting global economies. 2. Peter 3:10 describes a scenario where the heavens will disappear with a roar and the elements will be destroyed by fire. Isn't it fascinating how these ancient texts align with modern concerns? Despite the ominous tone, Nostradamus's prophecies are also a call to action. They urge us to prepare and build resilience. What can we learn from these warnings? Perhaps it's time to rethink our relationship with the planet and the universe. Supporting environmental preservation efforts, engaging in climate change initiatives, or even learning about astronomy could make you more prepared for the unexpected. Humanity has shown an incredible ability to adapt and overcome. This might be our next great challenge. Even in the face of cosmic threats, Nostradamus seemed to suggest that such crises could inspire spiritual renewal and a stronger sense of purpose. This brings us to another critical theme in his prophecies, the famine and spiritual awakening that often emerge during times of crisis. Nostradamus, in his prophetic wisdom, spoke of times of famine that would arise from natural disasters and human conflict. Yet he warned that this scarcity would not only affect food, but also purpose and faith. These moments of crisis, he believed, would bring unique opportunities for spiritual renewal. This echoes the words of Deuteronomy 28, which describe how hardships can lead the human heart back to God. Could it be that in the face of famine, we discover what truly sustains us? The physical hunger Nostradamus predicted is already visible in many parts of the world, whether in war zones or areas devastated by climate change. He foresaw waves of global famine, symbolizing not just a lack of food, but a loss of hope and direction. Imagine finding yourself in a world where grocery store shelves are empty and humanitarian aid is stretched thin. How would you cope? Beyond practical solutions, turning to spiritual strength during such times could be a vital source of resilience. As Matthew 4:4 reminds us, man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God. Interestingly, Nostradamus also saw these periods of famine as a catalyst for spiritual awakening. In times of scarcity, people often rediscover the value of things they once overlooked: faith, community, and mutual support. Have you noticed how crises tend to bring people closer? Prayer groups, community service, and simple acts of kindness can be like water in a desert. What have you done recently to plant seeds of hope in your life and the lives of others? Curiously, Nostradamus also spoke of a famine of the spirit, something deeply relevant to modern society. Even surrounded by material abundance, many still feel an inner emptiness. He seemed to suggest that the solution to this hunger isn't found in wealth or possessions, but in reconnecting with spiritual practices and a higher purpose. When was the last time you paused to pray, meditate, or help someone without expecting anything in return? These actions nourish not only your soul, but also create a ripple of renewal in the world around you. As the world faces these challenging times, Nostradamus's words serve as a powerful reminder that crises can be transformed into opportunities for growth, both spiritually and practically. But while we reflect on the lessons of the past, he also pointed to the transformative power of emerging technologies, another force capable of reshaping humanity's future. Nostradamus foresaw technological revolutions that could profoundly change humanity, predicting not only the rise of artificial intelligence, but also advancements in renewable energy and global communication. Today, we see the emergence of game-changing innovations, from quantum computing to clean energy solutions. Doesn't this align perfectly with Daniel 12:4, which speaks of a time when knowledge will increase? Imagine a future where self-sustaining homes and solar-powered vehicles are the norm. Nostradamus appeared to anticipate this kind of transformation, viewing it as a response to the environmental and social challenges we face. For example, technologies like solar roofs and portable water desalination systems are already helping remote communities thrive. What role could you play in supporting this movement, perhaps by investing in sustainable solutions or adopting new technologies that not only improve your life, but also protect the planet? 55. These innovations are also revolutionizing the way we connect with one another. Nostradamus spoke of invisible messages crossing the skies, which many interpret as a vision of today's satellite networks and global internet systems like Starlink. In an age where information is accessible in seconds, are we using it wisely? Ephesians 5:15-16 advises us to make the most of every opportunity. Maybe it's time to reflect on how you can leverage these tools for learning, growth, and meaningful connection. However, Nostradamus warned of the dangers of over-reliance on technology. He predicted collapses and failures resulting from our dependence on these innovations. Imagine a global blackout, cyber attacks, or advanced technology falling into the wrong hands. While these scenarios may seem distant, we're already seeing early warning signs through sophisticated cyber attacks. How can we prepare? Perhaps by learning practical skills like gardening or first aid to reduce vulnerability in times of technological failure. As we marvel at the potential of emerging technologies, Nostradamus invites us to consider their deeper implications. How will they shape our values, beliefs, and connections? His prophecies suggest that alongside technological advancements, we'll see major cultural and spiritual shifts, a theme tied to the evolving role of religion in a rapidly changing world. Nostradamus predicted a decline in traditional religion's influence, paired with the rise of new spiritual movements. He spoke of confusion at the altars and rituals losing meaning, signaling a global shift in how people seek the divine. In today's world, technology and science challenge long-held beliefs while paving the way for fresh perspectives on faith and purpose. Matthew 7:13-14 reminds us of the narrow path that leads to life. Could we be living in an age where rediscovering that path is more important than ever? Traditional religions are grappling with relevance in an increasingly interconnected and informed world. Scandals, internal divisions, and generational disconnects have contributed to this crisis. Yet Nostradamus viewed these moments as opportunities for spiritual renewal. Have you noticed the rise of interfaith movements or modern practices like mindfulness that blend ancient wisdom with contemporary needs? Perhaps it's time to rethink your faith journey, whether by diving deeper into scripture or exploring new spiritual paths. However, this transition isn't without conflict. Nostradamus also foresaw cultural clashes as new spiritualities challenged deeply rooted traditions. Issues like LGBTQIA+ rights, women's roles in religious leadership, and the integration of science and faith are reshaping religious debates worldwide. These challenges are opportunities to grow and embrace the unifying essence of spirituality. As Galatians 3:28 reminds us, there is neither Jew nor Greek, slave nor free, male nor female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. Despite these challenges, Nostradamus believed that religion would remain a crucial force for navigating the future. In an increasingly technological world, people will continue seeking meaning and connection, something no machine can provide. Imagine how places of worship could reinvent themselves, using technology to reach more people or adopting inclusive and modern practices. The future of religion, as Nostradamus saw it, lies in its ability to adapt and evolve. But as traditions shift, so too does the global balance of power, bringing us to another of his central predictions: dramatic geopolitical transformations. Nostradamus foresaw the transformation of world powers, predicting drastic shifts in the global balance of power. He spoke of economic crises in the United States that could ripple through the entire international financial system, while power would shift toward regions like Asia and the Middle East. Daniel 2:21 reminds us that God removes kings and sets up kings, underscoring the inevitability of these cycles beyond human control. Signs of these shifts are already evident. China continues to expand its economic and military influence, while the US faces internal divisions and external challenges that question its role as a superpower. Nostradamus seemed to anticipate a world where traditional alliances dissolve and new powers emerge. How might these transformations affect your life? From rising inflation to supply chain disruptions, global events impact us all in ways we may not immediately recognize. He also spoke of crises forcing radical changes in economies. Think about how technological advancements like cryptocurrencies and AI are reshaping markets. Nostradamus envisioned a world where traditional economies would be challenged, paving the way for new forms of wealth and power. Are you prepared for this transition? Now might be the time to learn about digital finance, diversify investments, or acquire skills that keep you adaptable for the future. Nostradamus foresaw the transformation of world powers, predicting drastic shifts in the global balance of power. He spoke of economic crises in the United States that could ripple through the entire international financial system, while power would shift toward regions like Asia and the Middle East. Daniel 2:21 reminds us that God removes kings and sets up kings, underscoring the inevitability of these cycles beyond human control. Signs of these shifts are already evident. China continues to expand its economic and military influence, while the US faces internal divisions and external challenges that question its role as a superpower. Nostradamus seemed to anticipate a world where traditional alliances dissolve and new powers emerge. How might these transformations affect your life? From rising inflation to supply chain disruptions, global events impact us all in ways we may not immediately recognize. He also spoke of crises forcing radical changes in economies. Think about how technological advancements like cryptocurrencies and AI are reshaping markets. Nostradamus envisioned a world where traditional economies would be challenged, paving the way for new forms of wealth and power. Are you prepared for this transition? Now might be the time to learn about digital finance, diversify investments, or acquire skills that keep you adaptable for the future. Geopolitical shifts often bring conflict. Nostradamus mentioned the cries of conquered cities, signaling the turmoil that accompanies these transformations. Global events like wars and regime changes have ripple effects, impacting ordinary lives worldwide. 1 Timothy 2:1-2 encourages us to pray for those in authority so we may live in peace, even during turbulent times. While these changes may seem daunting, they also present opportunities for humanity to reinvent itself. Nostradamus believed that in times of crisis, new ways of collaborating and creating solutions would emerge. Yet these transformations remind us of another urgent issue he highlighted: the fight for sustainability and environmental preservation. Nostradamus, with his gift for foreseeing humanity's cycles, predicted that the fight for sustainability would become one of the defining challenges of our time. He spoke of the earth plundered by greed and the cry of disappearing forests, reflecting today's environmental crises. These warnings echo Genesis 2:15, where humanity is entrusted to care for and cultivate the earth. Have we lived up to that responsibility, or are we inching closer to the dire future Nostradamus envisioned? Environmental disasters like the Amazon rainforest fires and rising global temperatures reveal the consequences of our actions. Nostradamus saw 2025 as a pivotal year when humanity must decide between continuing its destructive path or embracing sustainable solutions. Imagine a world where clean water becomes a luxury. For millions, this is already a reality. Small actions, like cutting down on plastic use, conserving energy, or planting trees, may seem insignificant, but collectively they could make a monumental difference. Nostradamus also foresaw a global outcry for solutions. Today, movements like Fridays for Future and clean energy campaigns reflect this call for change. He seemed to predict not only the urgency of the crisis, but also the potential for innovation. Ever heard of lab-grown meat or bioplastics made from algae? These advancements exemplify how creativity can tackle environmental challenges. How might you contribute? Supporting or even participating in these initiatives could be a step toward a more sustainable future. Environmental preservation is deeply tied to social justice. Nostradamus suggested that wealthier nations would need to help poorer ones tackle climate challenges. As Christians, we're called to share resources and help those in need, as Luke 3:11 teaches. Anyone who has 2 shirts should share with the one who has none, and anyone who has food should do the same. Are we ready to act collectively and compassionately to protect our shared home? As we contemplate the future of sustainability, it becomes clear that each of us has a role to play. Nostradamus's warnings are not just ominous, they're an invitation to change. Now that we've explored his most chilling prophecies for 2025, it's time to conclude with a message of empowerment and hope for the audience. After delving into Nostradamus's 10 most unsettling prophecies for 2025, one thing is clear. The future is filled with uncertainties, but also opportunities. Each prediction serves as a mirror, reflecting not only the challenges, but also the choices we face. So let me ask you, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you wait for change to happen, or will you take control and become part of the transformation the world so desperately needs? Whether confronting the rise of artificial intelligence, the impacts of climate change, or global conflicts threatening peace, remember that every action counts. Start small, reduce your environmental footprint, stay informed, and strengthen your spirituality. As Nostradamus suggested, times of crisis are also moments of profound growth and renewal. And now, a final thought. How do you think these prophecies relate to your life? Did any resonate with something you've been feeling or contemplating? Share your thoughts in the comments and let us know what you're learning. After all, sharing knowledge is one of the most powerful ways to prepare for what lies ahead. Before you go, don't forget, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell for more thought-provoking content like this. Together, we can keep exploring fascinating topics and preparing for a better future. See you in the next video, and remember, what you do today could change everything tomorrow.